It's time now for the latest in local news. Again, the city just reminding everyone about that road closure this week as they're doing sewer repairs on Henson-Mosley Road. City Manager Nick Ellis announced a temporary road closure on Henson-Mosley Road near the Highway 38 intersection for necessary sewer repairs at the Emergency Medical Services EMS building. The road closure will be in effect through this afternoon up till around 4 p.m. Motorists are advised to plan accordingly and seek alternate routes during the repair work to avoid delays. The city says they're working to complete the repairs as efficiently as possible to minimize disruption to traffic. Today, down in Glenn County's courthouse, WIFO will be on hand in Superior Court with Honorable Judge Stephen Scarlett as convicted murderer Larry Jenkins, who's been convicted not once but twice for the murders of Michael and Terry Ralston, which occurred in Wayne County back in 1993, has been granted a third trial with jury selection already scheduled in Glenn County beginning Monday, April the 7th. Today's a motions hearing before the trial in front of Judge Scarlett, set to get underway around 10:30 this morning. WIFO will be in courtroom, have a full report for you here on Monday's local newscast. Once again, the brutal murders of the Ralstons took place in Wayne County back in 1993 as Larry Jenkins, age 17 at the time, entered the Ralstons family laundromat in Jesup, held the Ralstons at gunpoint, took around $600 in quarters from the laundromat, then ordered the Ralstons into their family-owned Chevy Lumina van, drove them to a wooded area in Wayne County near a railroad track, and shot and killed the Ralstons. Michael Ralston was just age 15 at the time of his death. The day following the murders, Jenkins and three of his friends were spotted driving the van by Jesup police. Again, the pursuit began as the men were trying to exchange the quarters for dollar bills from the laundromat. Jesup police spot the van. During the chase, Jenkins is seen throwing the murder weapon into some bushes. He drops a backpack which contained $142 in quarters from the laundromat. After his arrest, police found Michael Ralston's learner's permit in Jenkins' pocket. Once again, Jenkins was tried and convicted by a Wayne County jury, but was later given a second trial. And now, years later, after a second conviction on 2 murder counts, a third trial has been granted, as in a split 5-4 ruling. Statements made in a patrol car while he was being transported to the jail were admitted at trials, and now the ruling is the statements made are inadmissible. Once again, the motions hearing set for today in Glenn County Courthouse with Judge Scarlett presiding. WIFO, again, will be on hand in the courtroom, have a full report for you here on Monday's newscast. We'll be back with more news after this word from our sponsor, the commercial messages, so please stay tuned. In Atlanta, the Republican-controlled state of House of Representatives narrowly passed the GOP-backed tort reform legislation on Thursday over objections from Democrats that the bill was both unnecessary and would reduce Georgians' access to the courts. The bill now goes back to the Senate to weigh in on the changes made by the House. Senate Bill 68 passed Thursday 91-82. The minimum number of votes needed to approve legislation in the 180-member House. Several House Democrats supporting the bill and several Republicans voting against it. The bill cleared the Senate last month, also primarily along party lines. This is Governor Brian Kemp's top priority for this year's legislative session. House Speaker John Burns, a Republican from Newington, said after the Thursday's vote, today the Georgia House took another step toward delivering much-needed reform to our state's current litigation environment. They state the common sense solutions provided by Senate Bill 68 protect the rights of Georgians who have been harmed while ensuring that the scales of justice in our courtrooms are fair and balanced. We look forward to working alongside the Senate to champion this critical lawsuit reform across the finish line. The bill's 10 sections include provisions establishing premises liability guidelines for when plaintiffs can sue businesses owners after suffering injuries during the commission of a crime by a third party outside the owner's control. It also lets defense lawyers introduce into evidence whether a plaintiff injured in an auto accident was wearing a seatbelt, and it requires plaintiffs to seek economic damages based only on the actual cost of the medical care they received. Such reforms in Georgia's civil justice system are needed to curb a growing number of excessive jury awards that are driving up liability insurance premiums, which is hurting business bottom line. That from Representative Chas Cannon, a Republican from Moultrie. Again, he said reducing frivolous lawsuit and excessive jury awards will stabilize insurance costs, enabling business to invest in growth and create jobs. But Representative Al Williams, a Democrat from Midway, who also chairs the Liberty County Development Authority, says he's never had a prospective business tenant he was recruiting complain about high insurance premiums, despite the American Tort Reform Association having named Georgia as the nation's #1 judicial hellhole in its annual report on states with the worst climate for tort claims. Williams says tort reform advocates' characterization of Georgia's legal climate flies in the face of the state's perennial status as the best state in which to do business. He says you can't say for 11 straight years you're the best place in the nation to do business and are a hellhole for insurance. Representative Shay Roberts of Atlanta said there's no guarantee that passing the bill will lower the cost of liability insurance. She says there isn't a single line in this bill requiring insurance providers to reduce premiums. The House made a serious change in the Senate version of the measure based on input during more than a dozen hours of testimony, including a caveat aimed at ensuring the bill won't affect the rights of victims of sex trafficking to file lawsuits. Representative Stacey Evans, a Democrat from Atlanta, says the caveat means those who suffer from sex trafficking would be treated differently from those victimized by other sex crimes. She asked, what about a rape victim? What about a victim of sexual assault committed in the stairwell in an apartment complex? Why wouldn't we want other victims of crime to be able to recover damages? House Majority Whip James Burchett, Republican from Waycross, took exception to Evans' characterization of how the bill would affect victims of rape. He says there's not one line in this bill that does not allow a rape victim to bring a claim. Evans also criticized a provision in the bill she said would make it harder for victims of crimes committed on the premises of a business to bring a lawsuit against the company's owner. Any crime committed on a business premises would have to result from a defective physical condition the owner was aware of, such as a broken lock, broken window, or a faulty security system, in order for the victim to sue. Other opponents said the legislation would put Georgians at a disadvantage in the civil justice system. Minority Caucus Chair Tanya Miller, a Democrat of Atlanta, says the courtroom is where everyday citizens, the Davids with a slingshot, are on an equal footing with Goliath. She says this is an attack on the very fundamental principles that make this country what it is. But Representative Rob Leverett, a Republican from Elberton, who chaired the House subcommittee that took testimony on the bill, said it would make the system fair to both victims and business owners. He says, I just don't think we can do nothing. People in our state are telling us they're having serious problems. Once again, the legislative session ends on Atlanta on April 4th, and again, we'll be checking in next week with our local representatives. Mondays with Stephen Meeks, Tuesday with State Senator Blake Tillery, Wednesday with State Representative Buddy DeLoach. The Wayne County Chamber of Commerce gearing for their post-legislative luncheon. That's scheduled for April 22nd at Coastal Pines Technical College from 11 to 1. Tickets are on sale for that event at the Chamber of Commerce. They're $30 for members and $40 for non-members. Everyone is invited to come here, from State Representative Stephen Meeks and Buddy DeLoach and State Senator Blake Tillery. As they'll recap the legislative session, they'll be the guest speakers. They'll discuss the highs and lows, talk about what bills did not pass or left on the table for the next legislative session. Once again, the Chamber's post-legislative luncheon set for April 22nd at Coastal Pines Technical College. Once again, the time from 11 to 1. If you need tickets or information, call the Chamber at 912-427-2028. We'll be back with some final news notes after this word from our sponsor, other commercial messages, so please stay tuned. Final notes of news: Wayne Memorial Hospital excited about 4 physicians soon to join the hospital staff in the next few months. Again, Dr. Robert Fowler, ENT, will be the first to open up at 125 Memorial Drive on April the 28th. His office will begin taking appointments on April the 3rd and may be reached by calling 912-427-7790. Dr. Fowler graduated from medical school at Memorial University in St. John's, Canada. He completed his residency at Victoria General Hospital in New Halifax Infirmary and Isaac Walton Killen Children's Hospital, St. Joseph's, St. John's Regional Hospital, and Dalhousie University. Dr. Fowler completed his fellowship at the John Malore MD Head and Neck Center in Buffalo, New York, and the MD Anderson Cancer Center in Houston, Texas. Dr. David Whitehead, gastroenterologist, will be in Jesup office located at 230 Memorial Drive beginning May 12th. His education includes medical school at Tulane University Medical School in New Orleans, Louisiana, where he also completed his residency. Dr. Whitehead completed his fellowship at the University of Tennessee Health Science Center in Memphis, Tennessee. Dr. William Boyd, OBGYN, will open his office in July, situated at 228 Memorial Drive in Jesup. Dr. Boyd completed medical school at Jefferson Medical College in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. His residency at University of Florida Health Sciences Center in Jacksonville, Florida. He's also a member of the American Congress of Obstetricians and Gynecologists. His office can be reached at 912-559-2432. And Dr. Chelsea Carter, internist, will be joining Dr. Lance Hendricks at Internal Medicine of Southeast Georgia at the hospital medical staff in September. She's a 2012 graduate of Jeff Davis County High School and a 2016 graduate of Armstrong State University. She attended medical school at the University of Medicine and Health Sciences St. Kitts before completing her internal medicine residency training at the Augusta University, University of Georgia Medical Partnership in Athens, Georgia, where she has served as chief resident physician. The office is located at 351 Peachtree Street and can be reached by calling 912-530-6582. Once again, all four of these physicians soon to join Wayne Memorial Hospital staff. Wayne County Board of Tourism getting ready for 3 warm weather events. The 2025 Wayne County Spring Fair set for April 3rd through the 12th. The 2025 Altamar River Run scheduled for April the 12th. And the 3rd annual Jesup Porch Fest set for May 3rd. Entry fee for the fair is $15. That includes all the rides, which may be limited by height. Hours for the fair this year will be Monday through Thursday, 6 to 10, and Saturday, 6 to 11, and Sunday, 6 to 10. The river run on April the 12th will begin at the Upper County Gleason Copeland Landing. We'll offer paddlers the choice of 2 takeout points. The 11-mile takeout point will be Pig Farm Landing. The 16-mile will be a JC Landing. There is no charge for the event, but each participant must sign a participation waiver for the paddle before the paddle begins. If you need more information on the paddle, that can be found on the Tourism Board website, waynetourism.com. The Jesup Porch Fest is a music festival held on the porches and lawns of historic homes and churches in the old-time neighborhood of Jesup, bordered by Brunswick Bay, Wayne, and Mahogany Streets, set for May 3rd from 1 to 5 p.m. Musicians and entertainers will be performing, allowing visitors to enjoy music from different venues, traveling by golf cart, bicycles, or on foot between the different host sites. Anyone interested in performing or hosting should contact Heather Altman at the Wayne County Board of Tourism. That number 912-427-3233, or they can stop by the Jesup Train Depot. Once again, 3 great events planned for Wayne County. The Spring Fair, April 3rd through the 12th. The Altamar River Run set for April the 12th. And the Jesup Porch Fest set for May 3rd. That's going to do it for latest in local news. Sports comes your way in a few minutes. Bob Morgan, have a great day.